Good morning, everyone. Myself, I'm Veeresh from Civil Department, working as Assistant Professor. Today, I'm here to give the basic details of the Environmental Engineering 1. So, where we are going to discuss about how the water is used for our daily routine life. Okay. So, before going to start the topic of environmental engineering, first we have to know about the where is water is coming from. Actually, we all know water is very essential for the each individual living organism, especially for human beings. Every day we are purely depends upon the water. Okay, so this water we may utilize it for our drinking purpose, used to drinking water, and use it for our cleaning the utensils and making any food production, everything. So after utilizing this water, the water may convert into a waste also. Okay, first thing today we are going to study about a water cycle, how water are going to be originated in the atmosphere and what are the sources may depend influence to cause of a rain. So we all know what is the main source of water means rainfall. So how these rainfalls are going to be occur in the nature. Okay, so first thing, uh, a water cycle or hydrological cycle also we can call it. Okay, first thing. So here let us assume this is a profile of the earth surface. Okay, so some plants and combination of here some clouds, and here we have a one water body. This water body may have a river, lake, pond, a sea. Okay, and we all know how we have a one sun who is giving a source of energy in the form of heat. This is called as a heat energy. This energy may strike it to plants also, where this heat energy utilized for the plants as the generation of the photosynthesis for food, there that we known as a photosynthesis. Okay, once this water sun heat energy are going to be strike on the water body. Okay, the top surface of the body are going to be heated and get converted into small droplets. Okay, so it is known as a vapor, where a water changes from liquid medium to a vapor state. Okay, liquid to semi-liquid or any gaseous form, that we known as here vapor, that we known as a vaporization process. So this vaporization process, okay, whatever the water get vaporized, that going to be a reaches at the upward direction by the circulation of the air. Okay, air always tends to move the hardened particles to the upward. Once this hardened particle going to reach upward, their formation of the clouds may happens. Okay, that we known as here when water body converts into a vapor state, that we known as here evaporation. That we known as evaporation. So by heat energy are going to strike the water body, the sum of the amount of water are going to be vaporized, that we known as here evaporation only for water bodies. If some amount of heat energy are going to be strike to the plants, so to the plants also some of the water may converts into a vapor. Okay, causes to formation of the clouds, that we known as here a transpiration. Okay, where water molecules get evaporated from the plants. Okay, through the leaves, where maximum amount of water stagnant stored into the root areas, that we known as here a transpiration. Again this water also go cause to the formation of clouds. So when these clouds are get cooled, when these clouds are getting cold by cold air and striking by the each other, when these two clouds are going to be strike collide each other, so then there you are going to get the formation of the small water droplets. Okay, make cause that we known as a here precipitation. Okay, where the two clouds are going to be collide, there you are going to get some amount of water, that in the form of water, that water we known as a here precipitation. When this precipitation are going to be, that is to the S surface. So I am going to show it in a red marker color. The water when going to strike on the soil here, the water mostly absorbed by the soil. Soil having the capability to absorb the some amount of water. Okay, that process here is known as here infiltration. Amount of water which is utilized by the or absorbed by the soil, that we known as here infiltration. Okay, so this infiltration water, every soil having some quality to absorb the water, certain limits only, individual soil based upon the type of nature of the soil. Black cotton soil having the maximum amount of holding capacity. Okay, it can be absorb more amount of water compared to the sandy soil and red cotton soil. Okay, so after satisfying the infiltration capacity of the each individual soil, some amount of water may overflow on the earth surface, or some amount of water are going to be stagnated because of the depression zones. So if you see here, here we have a small depression zone, here also we have a small depression zones. Okay, this depression zone may causes to cause a near the ponds or lakes. Okay, so here some amount of water are going to be overflow on the surface here after satisfying the infiltration capacity of the soil. The overflow of water here we known as a runoff. Okay, the overflow water on the earth surface after satisfying the infiltration capacity of the each individual soil, that we known as here runoff. These runoff may cause the formation of the rivers or recharging the water bodies. Okay, these elements are going to be recharging the groundwaters. So mainly causes of how these rivers are occurs means because of the runoff, the overflowing water from higher region to a lower region, it going to be merging with the nearest water body based upon the volume. If the quantity of volume of water stored is little, means that we know as a ponds. Ponds are lakes. You are not in ponds, you are not going to find out any circulation. Water is not going to travel, it's going to be stagnated at one place. If the lakes small quantity, it may passes to one into other end, that we know as the lakes only. But if you're going to connect larger quantity of water, may travels from the higher region to a lower region, that we known as a here formation of the rivers. Mostly we are going to get the water from the rivers only, that to caused by the runoff. Okay, so here these elements, so where you are going to get the energy from heat energy, that we known as a here we're going to mention He, evaporation which is measured by the which is usually represents the E, and precipitation here we known as a P. Then infiltration we are going to measure as a I. Okay, runoff means R. So in some cases, when you are going to witnessing the causing of a rainfall, mostly here our region, a Rayalaseema, Chittoor, Kadapa region, we are going to get the precipitation in the form of a rainfall. Okay, means droplets. These droplets having the size of having the intensity and size 2.5 mm per hour to 6 mm per hour. Okay, having the size is 2.52 in the intensity, and means. So this type of this type of precipitation we call it as a rainfall. In some cases, you're going to witness the size of the droplet may having the size of 1 mm per hour, that we known as a here drizzle. Okay, the size of the droplet may varies from the 1.5 per hour, means that we know as a drizzle. In Telugu we call it as a tumperlu, little bit. Okay, na? When you are going to witnessing this drizzle means starting of the rainfall. So it going to giving the akas. So within a minute you are going to get the heavy rainfall like that. With the droplets only. After that, we have a snowfall means the snowfall means based upon the temperature variation. Mostly we're going to visit the poles areas where temperature is very less, means minus degrees. When you go notice, there you are going to find out the snowfall effect. That too, each snowfall that flakes, the flakes having the size of 1 gram per cc. That known as a snowfall. Then we have a hail. So in so many cases you may hear the word of hailstorm. Hailstorm means when the size of the droplet may increases more than 8 mm in form of snow. In the form of snow, we're going to get the ice. Okay, so if the size of the droplet may have the size of 8 in having the ice form, that we known as a here uh, ice cube size. Ice cube shape, that we known as a here hailstorm. So you are going to get the maximum effect when you are going to hailstorm happens. During that time, the surrounding area are going to be affected severely. Okay, so this is all about forms of precipitations and causes. So what is how we are going to calculate water cycle equation, water cycle inputs and outputs. So what is the input energy? When we are going to giving the input energy, what are the output you are may expected? So we all know here the input energy comes from the sun only, solar heat energy. Through the heat energy only, ultimately we are going to get the form, precipitation means a rainfall. In this also, what are the outcomes after giving the, so it is a neutralized only. Everywhere you're going to be expected. Okay, this is neutral. So the energy comes from the sun is a regular only. Okay, so once the energy are going to be hit to the water body here, the inputs are going to be happens. So this system is continuous. So energy coming from the sun. Okay, step one. Okay, then when it going to reach into the water, this is step two. This is the formation of cloud, formation to precipitation, precipitation to runoff, again infiltration, again go for the runoff, then merging into the water body. Step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7. It is a continuous process in the environment. Okay, in atmosphere also. So here, when you are going to having the water cycle, here we have a water cycle equation. Water cycle equation. This equation may driven from the continuity equation which we are studying in the fluid mechanics center. So what is the inflow energy we have? Inflow energy I, then Q equals to outflow energy is equals to delta X, where I equals to inflow energy. Means inflow energy means we have to know about the inflow water. How much water are going to be evaporated, that you have to be identified or measured by the known by evaporation. Then outflow. Outflow water. How much you get in from the precipitation, that is known as, that is measured by the using measurements of precipitation. Then after that, this is delta S means change of water levels before inflow water flow and outflow water flow. So before happening, before going to strike the water, heat energy strike to the water body, how much water is available after striking, and how much amount of quantity of water are going to be from the clouds and resulting as in the precipitation. Based on this equation only, we are going to find out how much amount of water may fall in the earth atmosphere and comes under the utilization. Okay, after clearly studying all those parameters here as a civil engineering, okay, so it is our duty to secure, protecting and safeguarding the society by making the living standards more. Okay, as a part of environmental engineering. Okay, as a part of environmental engineering, here we are going to mostly focusing upon. So as a student, you are going to learn this entire cycle into three parts. Up to entire thing comes under the hydrology subject. In a hydrology, you are going to study about the occurrence, circulation, formation, measurements, and of the water cycle. You are going to study in the hydrology. So after collecting the water body, after collecting the water from in the water body, so this water need to be given to the public. Okay, we have to suppose to supply to the public. On what basis? For that, here we are going to study first thing a quantity of water. Okay, what is the available quantity of water? Based on that, what is the quality of water? Okay, after measuring the quantity, you have to know about the quality, whether this water is fit for drinking purpose or not, or may comes in utilization or not. After knowing the quality, so here we are going to measure the quality in three phases. Okay, based on their state in physical, chemical, biological. Okay, physical, chemical, and biological. Here, so whenever you are going to use your normally sensing organisms by touching, seeing, smelling, and tasting the water, you are going to find out the what is the color of the water by seeing, and odor by smelling the water. You're going to find out the, what is the odor of the water, and tasting the water through your mouth. Then you are going to get the taste of the water. By touching the water, you are going to find out what is the temperature. These parameters comes under the physical state. Okay, chemical parameters means you cannot identify or witness the uh, elements which are there in the water by seeing, touching, smelling, and tasting. Those parameters we known as here chemical parameters. So those things you are going to use some special type of laboratory equipments. Okay, so laboratory it depends upon laboratory equipments, like we have to find out what is the state pH of water, electrical conductivity, alkalinity, hardness, chlorides, sulfates, fluorides, magnesium, carbon elements. Okay, and heavy metals also, iron, mercury, cadmium, barium, everything you are going to measure under the chemical. Then coming to the biological parameters. These biological parameters, the presence of the any microorganisms or any bacteria may survive in the water that may causes to the harmful for the human. But if you are going to take the highly contaminated water, if the water may having the presence of any bacteria, you may witness the paratyphoid, typhoid also get malaria. Okay, these elements are caused by the biological parameters. Those you are going to witness. If there is some bacteria which can capable of living in the presence of oxygen, some may absence of oxygen. Okay, that we known as here. If any microorganisms or bacteria may presence in the may survive in the presence of oxygen, that we known as here aerobic bacteria. Okay, in some bacteria may can survive with or without the absence of presence of oxygen, that we known as here anaerobic bacteria. Okay, in the absence of oxygen, some elements are going to be alive. Those bacteria we known as here anaerobic bacteria. Some bacteria may live in the presence or absence, that we known as here facultative. Based upon this state, we are going to give whether the water is fit for a drinking purpose or not. After quantity of water, you go study about the sorry, you go for the treatment. So here we have a some standards which is given by the IS 10500 2000 code book. So for environmental engineering 1 or 2 quality of water, we're going to follow IS for this one IS 1500 2000. Okay, we're following this code book. Where what is the permissible and rejectable limits of the respect to parameters. So if water having the temperature at 20 to 30 degrees, it is fit or not. A color, same thing turbidity, a solids, pH also. For pH, drinking water should be maintain the pH of 6.5 to 8.5. These are the acceptable and permissible limits. If water may having the pH value within these ranges only, that water is fit for drinking purpose. If not, when we are going to verifying the quality of water by IS 500 200 If any parameters, few parameters are failing to obey the standards, okay, those water need to be go for the treatment. Okay, those water need to be go for the treatment. In a treatment, we have a screenings. Okay, based upon the what is the floating objects, based upon the what are the standards of the quality of water. Based on this one only, we are going to follow the treatment. Once treatment is done, we go for the distribution to the uh, public. We are going to distribute the water to the public. How we are going to be distributed? What are the system you are going to be maintained? What is the effective way to minimize the cost as well as the supply to the each remote area also? Okay, these things we are going to be studied in the environmental in. Okay, after identify the done the treatment on. Okay, these things we are going to be study in next class. We are going to study about what is the quality of water, how we are going to be assess quality of water and based upon their physical, chemical and biological state. Okay students, will you meet you on next class on the topic of quality of water. Okay, thank you everyone.